What's up, YouTube? It is your boy JB, and we are here today with the review for Our Kind of People, you guys. Season 1, Episode 12, also known as the season finale, you guys. The episode is titled Kiss It Up to God, you guys. Oh my god, this season finale. What the hell, man? The ending. Fox, you guys have got to bring Our Kind of People back for season 2 because you cannot leave me on that cliffhanger. A cliffhanger as a finale. Come on, y'all gotta renew this show. But hey, you guys, if you guys are watching this video or any other video on my channel and are not subscribed to the channel, I made you guys are doing me a solid favor. Stop taking me out on this date and having me pay for it at the end of it. Do me that favor by liking this video, you guys, subscribing to the channel, turning on your notifications, and sharing the video. And you guys, with that out of the way, without further ado, let's discuss Our Kind of People, shall we? All right, you guys, so this episode, Angela, Piggy, and Nikki, they are at Eve's Crown, right? And you guys remember that Angela made the deal with Teddy that if he was able to get, Piggy off for the murder of Darius, then, she would leave Oaks Bluff, right? So Teddy kept up his end of the deal, so now Angela is keeping up her end of the deal, and she's going to be shutting down Eve's Crown, right? But she also has come up with a new product, right? And it's called Nikki's Halo. So Angela and Piggy then talk, right? Piggy is like, I feel bad that you are leaving the Bluffs. You came here with the mission trying to clear your mother's name. But because of my situation, you now have to leave, and you leave without any answers, right? So Angela says, well, you know what? I feel like I need to sit down and have a conversation with Leah, about the gun, because, well, not necessarily about the gun, but she needs to sit down and have a conversation with Leah because she feels that this gun can somehow prove her mother's innocence, right? And, the Grand Illumination Ball, that's 2 days away. That's the last event that Nikki needs to go to, and it's 2 days away. So she has 2 days in order to clear her mother's name, right? So then we see Leah. So Leah and Raymond, they're in their room, and Leah is still reading that letter that her mother left for her. And Raymond comes out, he's like, so what's going on? Like, what are you thinking? And she's still in her feelings, right? Because, she's done everything for her father, but, it's especially with the shit with Angela, that was at the expense of their relationship, right? And, she said that there are two sides of the coin, but who would have thought that she would be the bottom side facing the gutter, right? So Raymond tells her all of this stuff, it can be fixed, right? We always tell the kids, the twins, when they would drop their food, what would we tell them? Pick it up, kiss it to God, and anything can be fixed, right? So then we see Tyreek. So he and Teddy, they're at the kitchen table for breakfast, right? So Tyreek is telling Teddy, like, hey, the plans that I have, I'll get them to you by the end of the week. And then Raymond comes in. So when Raymond came in, Teddy asked Raymond, how was Leah? He says that, she's feeling, she's still grieving, and she's feeling guilty for helping you run Angela out of town, right? He says, well, Angela and I both made a deal that was mutually beneficial for both of us, right? So then he tells her, Raymond that, he and Leah will be having a press conference to let everyone know that they're back in the black and that he's acquired Darman Foods, right? So then Teddy's, how Teddy is, Teddy loves to gloat, right? So Teddy is gloating, telling Raymond, like, hey, I had this private investigator look into the day that, Jack, of his death, right? And, people were saying that he gave his room key to Leah. And then people also said that they saw you in his room the same day that he died as well, right? So, yeah, it's not a great day to be Raymond DuPont. I don't think it's a good day to be Teddy Franklin either, to be quite honest with you. I'd rather be Raymond DuPont and not Teddy Franklin. But hey, we're going to move on, you guys. So we see Lauren, we see Nikki and Taylor. So they're at the beach, right? And at this point, Nikki still is none the wiser that Lauren and Taylor are back together, right? So Lauren is thanking Nikki and Taylor for being there with this situation with, Grandma Rose passing away, right? So, Nikki's like, I've been through that, my grandmother passed away, so I just know what it feels like, right? So then Nikki is like, she's going to go play in the sand, right? And when she does that, that leaves Taylor and Lauren to talk. So Taylor is still feeling some type of way, right? She doesn't feel too good lying to Nikki about, this relationship that they're in when she's back in a full-blown relationship with, Lauren. But Lauren is saying to her that, we need to tell her when the time is right. Girl, the time was right a long time ago. The time was right when y'all been spending the night in your room with her, right? So we see Leah. So Leah has Angela over to the crib, and she's called a meeting with all the Gray Cities, right? So Leah is now trying to right her wrongs. You guys remember in the episode before last when they had to vote for who would be inducted into the Gray Cities. You guys remember that Leah was the deciding vote, but if Angela would be inducted into the Gray Cities, but Leah voted against her because of Teddy threatening her, right? So now Leah is trying to make right. But as the president, she still doesn't have a lot of say because it's the senior most member of the Gray Cities that can basically kind of overturn this. And who is that senior member of the Gray Cities? That's right, it's Liv, right? And Liv, she ain't here for it, right? She's telling Angela, she's telling Leah, like, this Grand Illumination Ball is the big event of the summer. It's the ending event of the summer. If you can't handle it, you might want to step down. And Angela, Leah's like, girl, I'm not stepping down to you, Liv, right? So then we see Leah. So Leah wants to know why, she's talking to Teddy, and this is before they get ready for the press conference. And she wants to know why Teddy is doing what he's doing to Angela, because Angela was there for you when you had your heart attack. Angela has been there for me when my mother passed away. So why are we necessarily doing this? And Teddy's like, I'm the patriarch of this family, so just listen to what I'm saying. Because she's saying, you said you want to protect my mother, but Mama is gone. So what are you still protecting? Teddy is still protecting himself in the long run, right? But he tells her to basically let it go. All right, you guys, we're gonna pause here and move forward. All right, you guys, so next up we see Angela, right? So Angela, she is with Tyreek, and she presents Tyreek with the gun that Darius presented to Piggy, right? And she's presenting this gun to Tyreek because you guys know Tyreek's dad worked for Teddy, right? So Angela feels that maybe Tyreek's dad purchased the gun, and she asks Tyreek, can you look into it, right? She says, I'm pretty sure that there has to be paperwork, right? Are you okay with looking into it? He says, yeah, I'm here to help you, right? So then Piggy comes in, right? So Piggy is saying that, she looked into some newspaper articles, right, in 1984 just to see what happened. And she found out that the night of the Grand Illumination Ball that Teddy's brother was killed that same night, right? And his murder has been unsolved for all these years, right? But he was shot in the head. And we all remember that from the episode when Teddy had his heart attack and he kept seeing his brother, right? So then Nate comes in, and Nate is basically telling Tyreek, like, hey, my man, you better not get involved in nothing. I'm like, ooh, Angela, you got two men fighting over you. Girl, okay. So then we see Nikki and Taylor, right? So Nikki and Taylor, they're walking on the beach, right? And, Nikki is telling Taylor how, I'm going back to Boston. I want you to come up to Boston. I want us to do this. I want us to do that. Yada, 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 right? And then Nikki looks at Taylor. She's like, wait a minute. Is everything okay? Wait a minute. You're breaking up with me, aren't you? And, yep, she's breaking up with her, right? And, Nikki told her, like, I hate you. Like, I just told you I loved you. Now she's saying she hates her, right? So she leaves. So then Nikki went home, right? Upset about this situation with Taylor. She tells Nate and she tells Angela. And Angela tells her some sound advice, right? This is your first love, right? You might feel like right now that, this heartbreak that you're feeling, you won't ever get over it. But you will, love. It manifests, it takes different shapes and forms, right? But you'll get over it, right? And then Nate tells her what his mom used to say about, taking some noodles and throwing it up against the wall and whatever form it shapes. That'll be the initial of your next love, right? And Angela, like, yeah, he would know. His mother would know because, she was married 5 times before she passed away, right? So then we see Nate. So Nate has this home video from 2004 of him and Angela, right? And this was, we see her with a wig head, and we see her with these, those are Bantu knots, right? Yeah. So we see that, and then we see Nate all dressed. He's dapper. I'm like, oh, okay, Nate, I see you. So Angela comes out, she's like, Nate, what's going on here? Child, Nate said I had something planned 17 years ago, but things got in the way. But tonight, those things are not in the way. So then we see Nate. Nate gets down on one knee and, opens the box and asking Angela to marry him. Meanwhile, Tyreek walks in, right? And Tyreek tells Angela that he has something that made clear Eve's name, right? So what happened is Tariq found out that his dad did in fact buy that gun that was purchased. He did purchase that gun, right? And he also found out that the bullet that was in Teddy's brother's head is the same bullet from this gun, right? So the gun and the bullets are a match. So either Teddy or someone close to Teddy took out, his brother, right? But we'll discuss that a little later. So let's move forward, you guys. All right, you guys, so we see Lauren and Taylor. Lauren and Taylor are together in bed. They've just had sex, right? So Taylor is in her feelings, and, Nikki's like, not Nikki, but Lauren's like, I hate the fact that she's getting hurt. But she wants to wait until, actually at this point, Lauren wants to wait until the Grand Illumination Ball is over with, and that Nikki is heading back to Boston so that way they can reveal that they are back in a relationship with each other, right? So then Lauren has her bracelet on, right? And Taylor's talking about her bracelet. So Lauren is like, I got one for you. So she gets the box, hands it to Taylor. Taylor opens the box. Ain't no bracelet in the box. So Lauren thinks that it is Sloan who's stealing the jewelry, right? Meanwhile, Sloan, we see her and Quincy. They're in like a supply closet, and Miss Jackie comes and opens the door. And she's like, Lauren told me that y'all two were hooking up. And she was like, Quincy, I thought you would do me. I didn't think you would do that to me. I'm like, what did you? I mean, they're kids. They're teen. I mean, what's so bad about now with Miss Jackie? I just want to understand what the question that I have is, what's so bad about Tim hooking up with your granddaughter? I just don't understand what the issue is, right? But then, like I said, she told them that Lauren told her about them hooking up and the fact that Sloan is the one boosting. So at this point, Miss Jackie tells her, hey, you going your ass back home because you ain't standing here for the rest of you. Ain't staying here. You got to go. I was like, all that because she's linking up with Quincy? Girl, I guess. If you say so. All right, you guys, so we're going to move forward. So then we see Leah and Ange, right? So Leah and Angela, what they're doing is they're blowing up pictures from the Grand Illumination Ball in 1984. And this is really more so for Angela to kind of piece together a timeline of events, right? So they can see, when the Illumination Ball started. So I guess they'll see when everyone showed up, and then they'll have a timeline of everyone, pictures of everyone throughout the night, right? So that's what they're doing. So then Teddy comes in. He apologizes to not Leah, but to Angela for everything, right? And he leaves. So Angela closes the door, and Angela tells, Leah about everything, about the gun, about thinking that he killed his brother Lewis. And, Leah was like, but he loved my Uncle Lewis. He's even naming a stadium after him, right? And Angela was like, you always choose him, right? And she says, as long as you choose him, I don't know how you and I can be sisters with each other, right? So Angela leaves. So then we see Angela, she's talking to Tyreek, and she's just telling Tyreek about Leah, the fact that I tried to tell her that I believe that Teddy killed his brother, and she still chooses to believe him, right? And then out of nowhere, Tyreek, the setup that he had on the beach and what he was telling her, I was like, oh, that is so sweet that he bought this beach. He wanted to build a house on it, but there was always something missing. I was like, oh, child, when he got down on, damn, I would have accepted both Nate and Tyreek's proposal. When Tyreek proposed to me, I would have said, yes, hell yes. What you said was just sweet to me, so hell yeah, put it on my finger. And then with Nate, I would have been like, oh, yeah. But then the thing is, with Nate and Tyreek walked in, so I probably would have said, I hadn't said yes. So then we see we're at the Grand Illumination Ball, right? So Nikki has apologized to Taylor for what she said earlier to her, right? And Nikki's just like, at this point, my mom was telling me that, love, it takes different forms, right? So in this form, I would like us to be friends. Meanwhile, Quincy going off on Lauren about the shit that she's done, and he spills all the tea that she's been hooking up with Taylor behind Nikki's back, and Nikki overheard, and he was like, "Oh, Nikki, I'm sorry, I didn't mean for you to hear that," right? So that was that. So then we're at the ball, right, you guys? So at the ball, Leah and Angela, they both have this gift that they want to present to Teddy, right? So Tyreek brings up this black box, right? So they're holding the black box like this, and then they open the box for Teddy to see it. And when they opened it, there's that gun, and Teddy was like, "Oh," and he walked away and he went to his study, right? So everyone, the family, all following behind him, right? So they're wanting questions from Teddy about what happened at the Grand Illumination Ball in 1984, right? So Teddy goes on and tells them what happened at the Grand Illumination Ball, right? So Teddy tells them that, he was in love with Eve, and his plans were to leave with Eve, right? But he met up with his brother. Him and his brother had gotten into an argument with each other, right? And then he says that, in the process of him and his brother arguing, that, not Liv, but Rose showed up, right? Rose showed up, and she was very manic, right? Rose is the one that had the gun, right? And she was pointing it at Teddy, and she was about to take Teddy out, right? So she fired the gun, and Teddy's brother Lewis stepped in front of him, taking a bullet that was meant for Teddy, right? So from that point on, his plans shifted, right? He was no longer going to leave with Eve. He then decided to stick around and, be there for Rose and for Leah, right? So that happened. So then, he tells Angela also, when it comes down to your mother, I didn't set your mother up with those drugs. I didn't plant those drugs. And it was in that moment that I figured out, when Teddy said he didn't plant those drugs on Eve, I was like, I know who did it. I was like, I know exactly who did it. And I guess I should have put two and two together in the episode when it was revealed that Eve, Mama Liv, and Rose were all going up. We're all inducted. We're all going to be inducted into the great. We're going up for the Gracies, right? It should have clued into my mind at that point who it was. So then we're going to move forward, you guys. So we see Mama Liv. Mama Liv is talking to somebody, and she is just upset about, we're supposed to do this at this time and then this at this time, but we're dealing with Leah and we're working on CPT time. I'm like, okay. So then Angela walks up, right? And Angela says, Liv, all these photos that have been blown up, right? You want to know whose idea that was for this? That was my idea, right? So then Angela says, also, she says something like 10:15 or something like that. She says, I'm looking at all the pictures, and between 10 o'clock and 10:15 or something like that, right? Everyone was accounted for, with the exception of you, because it was a little presentation that it was the talented 10th that they were supposed to do. She wasn't there for the talented 10th, so she says, were you not talented enough? Like, what was going on? Or were you the one that planted the drugs on my mother? Questions. So Liv was like, well, little girl, I got time today. If you want to play the game, I got time today, little girl. So she says, you know what? Yes, it was me that planted that drugs on Eve, right? Rose was my best friend, and your mother was a gold digging, basically she wants to call her woman a gold digging bitch, right? But she didn't say it. She said it in an elegant way, but it was still basically her saying your mother was a gold digging bitch and a hoe, right? That broke up. Well, actually, because she got her home record, right? So she did that, right? And I'm like, so you planted the drugs on Eve because of Rose? What the fuck? Like, I get that you love your friend, like I love my best friend to death, but right, if someone, if her husband cheated on her, and she told me, and he wanted to go be with that other woman, I'm not gonna do nothing to that woman. Like, I'm like, what, we gonna him up, right? Liv should have said we gonna fuck Teddy up instead of trying to get at Eve. Granted, Eve knew about them, but bitch, we finna him up, right? But hey, so Angela, she was like, and there's nothing you can do about it. Angela's like, bitch, I recorded it. So Liv grabs the phone and throws it on the ground and stomps it with her heels. Oops. And Angela's like, bitch, it's in the cloud. I was like, yes, Angela. Angela is my fucking girl. Angela is my girl. I loves me some Angela. So we see the Gracie cities as they're being inducted, right? And Angela is now in the Gracie. She's been inducted. She used that recording to her advantage, and I'm so happy for Angela, right? So she got her distribution deal, and she has a silent partner, and she's talking to Leah. She's telling Leah this, right? And she tells Leah, I'm so sorry that, in clearing my mother's name that I brought some of this stuff to light about your mother. She says, no, it's okay. She's like, it answers a lot of questions about what my mother was actually going through. So it's okay. And I felt a lot closer to my mother, right? So, that's that. So then so she's like, so are you going to stay in Oaks Bluff? And Angela tells her, Nate proposed to me and Tyreek proposed to me, right? So I got to tell one of them no, right? Meanwhile, we see Sloan. So Quincy went to Sloan's room, right? He tells Sloan, like, we got to go tell, Jackie that, we got to come up with something to tell why you're not leaving. She says, we ain't got to go that far because I'm pregnant. I was like, well, damn. She's pregnant, right? So then we see Piggy. So Piggy, she went and talked to Teddy, right? And she says to Teddy, thank you so much for loving my sister, right? And in your weird, warped, twisted way, you helped me get clean, right? With the whole Darius situation. So I thank you for that because, if it wasn't for that situation, Piggy probably wouldn't have gotten clean, right? So, Teddy is like, well, I'm getting ready to leave. And she's like, you have 9 lives, Teddy. Come on. But he leaves, right? So then after that, where are we at? We see Angela. So Angela, you guys remember, Angela was going to go and, break it to one of the guys that she was not going to accept their proposal, right? So she walks up to Tyreek and she is bawling, right? And he was like, Tyreek was thinking that she was going to turn down his proposal, but she says, no, silly, I'm accepting your proposal, right? So she's going to marry Tyreek and not Nate. Let me know what you guys think about that. Who are you guys pulling for? Were you guys pulling for Tyreek or were you guys pulling for Nate? Honestly, I was pulling for Tyreek. So then we see Leah and Raymond. So Raymond and Leah, they're in the office, right? So Leah has let Raymond know that, he is the new chairman of, Franklin Holdings and Darman Foods, right? And he's like, what? Oh, shit. And she tells him also that, she's going to be partnering up with Angela and they're going to be doing, Eve's Crown, right? Because, for Leah, she never got to make decisions about her life. It was always Teddy making the decisions for her. So at this point, she's going to be making decisions for herself, right? So Raymond was like, okay, let me go get the champagne and we can celebrate. So Raymond walked out of the office and I knew something bad, but I was like, something bad is about to happen in this scene. I'm like, because we're almost finished with the episode, I'm like, something bad is about to happen. So when Raymond walked out, I figured Teddy was going to walk into the office. And I figured Teddy was going to walk into the office. Teddy was pissed off about all this shit with Leah. And I figured that Teddy would pop his daughter, right? But I was wrong, right? So what happened is someone in all black walked into the office. Mind you, Leah has her back turned, but her feet are on on one of the desk, right? And you can see her heels. So I was thinking to myself, did this person not see her stilettos? But the person walked into the office at Teddy Franklin, pop, and and she turned around and she was bleeding. I was like, oh, no. It's so interesting, you guys, to me, the fact that starting this season, couldn't stand Leah to save my life, but ending the season, I really like Leah, and I don't want Leah to die. I just don't like the fact that they left us on a cliffhanger and that we don't know if we're getting a season 2. Oh my God, you guys. I just feel some type of way right now, right? Because we need a season 2. Like, I need season 2 because I need answers to that question. Who shot Leah? Is Leah dead? I don't now. If they do come back for a season 2, I don't necessarily believe that Leah is dead because Teddy, not Teddy, but and the person didn't even have a silencer on the gun, right? So Raymond couldn't have gotten that far. So Raymond probably, if Raymond walked out, the person came in, shot. There was no silencer, so you could hear the gunshot, and gunshots are very loud. So I'm pretty sure that Raymond would hear that gunshot, run back in there to Leah, call for help, rush Leah to, and it's right here. So if they can get to her soon, she won't bleed out. And that also depends if it didn't hit a major artery. But hey, overall, you guys, I've enjoyed season 1 of Our Kind of People. I really have enjoyed this show. I've enjoyed reviewing it. I really hope that Fox brings it back for a season 2. It would be a shame if they didn't, because honestly, we need more shows for us, by us, with us on the screen. But that's it, you guys. Let me know what you guys thought about season 1 of Our Kind of People. Let me know. Let me know what you guys think about everything, and we will discuss it in the comment section below. Subscribe to the channel, turn on your notifications, share the video, you guys. And until the next one, stay safe, take care of yourselves, wash your hands, wear a mask, socially distance, you guys. Be blessed, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace, guys.